Now, aside from this, I want to touch on another issue that's near and dear to my heart. The throne speech, I look to the throne speech because the throne speech is supposed to be a document that highlights and puts out as a blueprint the direction of the government. I know there's LNG, and I'm going to turn to that in a minute. But there are other issues that are, in my view, equally important. And for more than 20 years, I've worked on this. And, Mr. Speaker, this is the issue that's impacted many lives, most certainly for the people in Vancouver-Mount Pleasant, but not just for Vancouver-Mount Pleasant, but across the province of British Columbia, and I would venture to say outside of British Columbia as well. And this is an issue about the missing and murdered women. Now, we know that there was an inquiry that was completed, recommendations made by Justice Wally Opo, the former Attorney General in this legislature. The recommendations, while some action's been taken, many has not been acted on, Mr. Speaker. And on October the 4th, on this Saturday, late afternoon, I guess early evening, the family members of the missing and murdered women held a rally. And it was the National Day of Action on the Missing and Murdered Aboriginal Women, where we came together as a community to honor the women who's lost their lives, who's gone missing, and to honor the family members and their friends who suffered this incredible traumatic loss in their lives, and to renew our call for action, federally, provincially, and municipally. And of course, the community were calling for a federal inquiry, a national inquiry. And of course, the community had wanted to see action followed up with the OPO inquiry recommendations as well. We know that in this legislature, we've talked about it, question period after question period, questions been asked, calling for the shuttle bus on Highway 16, calling for action so that we can prevent this kind of tragedy from ever happening again. The worst murder cases in the history of Canada, to prevent it from happening again. So, to me, it's a pretty significant issue. It's pretty significant, and I think not just for Vancouver-Mount Pleasant, but for all of us. And I did look to the throne speech with some shred of hope that maybe there would be some mentioning of a recognition from the government that further action would be taken to implement all of the recommendations with regards to the Wally Opo inquiry on the missing and murdered women. And again, to my disappointment, it was not even mentioned in this document. Now, I heard the Premier before the election said over and over again how she wanted to prevent this from ever happening again, that it was top of mind for her. Yet, here's yet another opportunity in her throne speech to highlight that, to make sure that the family members know that it is not forgotten, that the women are not forgotten and action will be taken, and that shuttle bus will actually take place along Highway 16 so that women can have access to safe transportation in that community. But it was not there. So yet another display of the Premier being very fond of saying one thing, but failing, again, to actually follow up with concrete action, Madam Speaker. And that, to me, was a big, big disappointment with the throne speech.